Hello guys, and welcome to Farming Simulator 25. In this video I'll be testing the forestry machinery to see how well it performs. So let's start with the harvesters. In the back we have the impacts, next we got the Volvo equipped with the woodcracker, then we have a John Deere filler puncher. Over here is the Komatsu tree harvester. And finally we have another Volvo equipped with a processor. Though we probably won't be testing that one since it's pretty similar to the Komatsu. With that said, let's just jump into the first machine and see how well it goes. So the Komatsu here is actually pretty straightforward. All we want to do is line up the harvester head with a tree. So once we get a little closer over here, we should be able to press cut and then it should grab the tree. And there we go. So now we can move the tree around freely. So let's swing it to the left and then we can start cutting it into logs. Now, I haven't changed anything, so it's just set to 5 meters, but you can adjust this to your liking. The tree itself actually feels really good. It's heavy, but the machine is still stable, which is really nice. So let's just try this smaller tree as well. There we go. Okay, so it actually feels like the header might be guiding the tree a little better. So it might be easier to make these smaller piles now when harvesting. Oh. Alright, let's let go of that tree. I don't think it should act like that. So, I think it's actually stuck in the ground perhaps. But let's see. Maybe? No? Let's just take the top off. See if that helps. It might just release itself actually when I let go of it, but yeah. For those who don't know, you can let go of a tree you're harvesting, and as you can see, you can just tilt the harvester head so you can pick it up again. So let's just do that, and then we can continue, hopefully, to cut it into length. Let's see. Yeah, now it works. Great. Alright, now that we have cut down a few trees with the Komatsu, let's run over and take a look at the John Deere filler puncher. Now, this machine is also really simple to use. All we have to do is activate the front tool, and then it's basically ready to just cut down whole trees. So all we have to do is drive directly into a tree and it will grab it. Oh, okay. On this case, delete the entire tree. Let's just try another one. And perhaps let's slow down a little here. So, alright, let's see if it works. Yeah, okay, that's great. So as you can see, it will cut and grab the tree hole, and we can actually cut down another one. So let's just take the smaller one over here as well. And hopefully it will grab this tree as well. Yeah. Alright, so as you can see now, we got 2 out of 2 trees, so the header is now 100% full, so we just have to find a good place to drop the tree off. And the only thing here you have to be wary about is just to not hit any obstacles. So let's just drop them here. You can also cut down full-grown species with the puncher here. We just have to be more carefully about the weight when doing so. As you can see, these trees are way bigger than the 2 we just cut down. If we get out and get a decent look, you can actually see how tall this tree is. So, of course, it will make the machine a little more unstable. But at least we can cut them down. We just have to be carefully and don't make any sudden movements when doing so. So let's just slowly turning the machine to the pile we made over here, so we can drop it down. Now, when we drop it, we will release it before we tip the header all the way. So we kind of just guide the tree. That way we won't tip the machine with it. Alright, so now that we have cut down and bunched a few trees, we have parked the John Deere over here. But if we wanted to continue, we would simply just work our way down again, making sure all the bunches would face the same direction to make it easier later on. But for now, let's just jump into the Volvo equipped with the woodcracker so we can see how well it works. Now, the woodcracker does work in a very similar way as the filler puncher. The biggest difference is that it's on a track vehicle and on a crane arm instead. which does allow us for some more movement. But basically all we have to do is find a tree we want to cut and then line it up. And once we're close enough, we can just press cut. There we go. So now it will grab the tree and we can choose and pick where we want to lay it down, but let's just drop it here. Now, the woodcracker doesn't have the greatest cut diameter. And as you can see, if we try to grab this tree, it will probably say it's too thick. Yeah, but we can just raise the grain a little more. There we go. And then it will actually cut it down. So if you don't mind larger or higher stumps, this equipment will actually cut down most trees as well. Okay, so the last available tree harvester in FF25 is the Impex. Now, I've placed down one of the red pines over here, which is a new tree species in FF25. And as you can see, these trees are absolutely massive. And the Impex is the only machine available right now that can cut them down. It's also equipped with a claw and a processor. So yeah, let's just try it out. So the cool thing about this machine is your ability to cut down a tree and then relocate it to a position of your liking. But before we do that, let's just try to cut down the red pine over here. And for this I will not use the claw, since the tree is really heavy. So if we can just get the header on the tree. I want to go down a little further here. There we go. Alright. So not exactly where I tried to aim the tree, but it's not too bad. It does feel a little floaty. That might just be because of the weight of the tree, but I mean, it doesn't really feel too heavy. It just feels, yeah, floaty is probably the best way I can describe it. But at least the machine can cut it down, so it's a great option if you have multiple of these trees and you don't want to use the chainsaw or something like that. Now let's try grab a tree instead. So if we just drive back here, we'll grab this tree, and it works similar to the other machines. Of course, we just line up the harvester head. But in the Impex we also have to line up the claw. Then once we press cut, it should automatically close it. Yes. And now we can basically move it around as we like. So if we want to cut the logs near the red pine, all we have to do is repositioning ourselves, and then we can swing to the right here. And then we can just drop the tree down in the field so it's in the right position. So if we just open the claw. Oh, I accidentally dropped the tree. Okay, it doesn't matter, we can just pick it up, of course. But I guess you get the idea. So now that the tree is in the right position, we can just drag it back here. Then we can start cutting it into logs. So this machine is really amazing if you want to manage your log piles a little more, or if you work in narrow spaces. Another cool feature for the Impex is its ability to extend its tracks. This is for increased stability, or if you have to work on uneven terrain. It also has the ability to work on very steep slopes. So it's equipped with a self-leveling system that will ensure that the cab stays in a horizontal position. So as you can see, once we get a little further up this little hill, it will still very much be in level. Which again will increase the stability of the machine once you start harvesting trees. Now, the last piece of equipment that can cut down trees is the chainsaw, and it will be able to cut down every single tree available in FF25 as far as my knowledge. Now, what I like to do is to take off the branches first. This is mostly so that when we cut the tree, it won't rest on these, and then we don't have to crawl around trying to line up the hitbox. But it's not possible on every tree species, of course, but when it is, this is definitely my go-to. Now the chainsaw is of course a little slower, but we have to keep in mind that these trees can't be harvested with the tree harvesters. So the chainsaw is basically the only tool that can cut them down. Now when we want to delimb these smaller pieces, we have to find the orange hitbox. There we go. And then just walk along the tree. And we might actually don't need to find the orange. Maybe we can just activate it. Seems like it. Let's try again over here. Yeah. Okay, you can just activate the chainsaw and then walk along the branches, and let's deal with them. So now let's cut down the tree. Okay, I thought he would walk over it, but no. Now, when you cut from the right to the left, the tree will fall to the left. And if you turn the chainsaw around and cut from the left to the right, it will fall to the right. But I do want it to fall to the left, so let's just turn it around again. And there we go. Beautiful. Not beautiful that it's spinning. Anyway, let's just delink it. And now we actually have quite a decent size lock for loading. 5.5 meters is great. Let's check the hitbox real quick. Yeah, this isn't good, if you ask me. This was a big issue in FF22 when working with these tree species. The hitbox would explode once you start cutting it. But let's just try to see if we can make it less normal. A little better, but it's not quite there yet. What about this one? Yeah, no. Okay, so that's not too good, but hopefully it's something they will fix this time around. Alright, so now that we spent some time in tree harvesters, it's time for us to try out the machinery that is designed to go and get the logs out of the forest. So let's just try out the Pantai forwarder here first and see how well it works. Now, to be fair, I was never really a big fan of this machine in FF22. I always felt like the claw was very weak, so let's just see if it's improved. I can almost already say that it doesn't feel better. It's like it's ready to drop logs at any given time. Let's just reposition these so we are level. Yeah, it's like it won't even grab onto the log for some reason. Let's just try this part as well. Oh. Okay, so it extends really quickly. Oh, this is sketchy. Yeah, that doesn't work. Alright, so we benched the Pantai forwarder, so let's just try the Rudner instead. And hopefully this will grab onto the logs a little better. Let's see. Yeah, so far so good. Feels more stable already. And they also fall neatly down in the bunk. And I can pinch the lock. Okay, so far so good. I think I will just try to load the same species of trees into the bunk and see if we will experience any issues down the road. Yeah, another pile. So the Rudner will grab onto the trees a lot better. It feels like the gravel is way more powerful. Alright, so now that we have a few more logs in the bunk, we do experience some issues already. As you can see here, the trees will actually move around quite a lot, which will cause issues as this movement will push the logs out of the back of the machine, which is very annoying when you try to make a neat pile to make it easier to unload. And as you can see here, once I strap everything down, it's fine. But when I let go of the straps again, it will move around. So all this jiggling in the back have really caused these logs to slide around a lot. But even a badly loaded forwarder doesn't necessarily mean that you have to make a badly stacked pile on the ground. You just have to spend a little more time making it even. So I do recommend that you just give the logs a few taps here and there to make sure that the pile is straight. This will also make it easier to load it onto a road truck later on. Similar to the forwarders, we also have two trailers that we can hinge to tractors. On this first trailer, we actually got a cool new feature where you can store your chainsaw. I'm not really sure what you can use this for, but it's a cool feature nonetheless. Now, on this trailer, you can stand behind the grain. You also have a grain cam if you prefer that. The tractor do have to be turned on before you can operate the grain, so let's just check out the other trailer for now. And for this, I do really like the Veltra, as we can jump up and then we can turn this seat around, so we can actually see what we're doing in first person. Now, when operating with these trailers, I do recommend that you lower the support legs, otherwise you might just tip the tractor or the trailer altogether. But let's just try to load the tree we just cut. Oh, too far. There we go. And as you can see, it is really struggling with the weight, but the support legs really saved the day. Now, these trailers are a really great alternative to forwarders if you just want to save a few bucks, or if you just have to cut down a few trees or something similar like that. Alright, over here we got another tractor equipped with a little bit of everything. So it can go in and grab logs, and it can grab whole trees. All you have to do is walk up behind it and connect the winch to the tree. There we go. And when you want to detect the tree, you just press U and it will detect. I would love to pronounce the name of this machine, but I'm not even gonna try it. So instead, let's just jump into the John Deere gravel skidder here and see how well it plays out. Unlike the forwarders, the skidder here is designed to go into the forest and grab bunches of whole trees and deliver them to a processor or similar machine that can cut them into logs. So if you just head out to find the first bunch you can grab, should be just over here. Let's extend the gravel a little. And then once we got these trees secured, we can just drive off. There we go. Oh. Okay. That wasn't beautiful. There, let's just try again. No. Okay. And once again, I don't think this is supposed to happen. And it does actually look like the entire gravel is caught in the ground right now. Doesn't seem to want to let go, at least. Let's just jump out of the machine, see if we can see what's going on. Yeah, it's caught deep in the ground. Oops. Alright, so after a quick reset, we are on our way again. So this time I will just try to be a little bit more careful with the gravel. So hopefully that won't happen again. Now let's just grab them nice and easily. There we go. Good. No, not good. Okay. Alright, so after benching the skidder as well, it's time to try the next machine in line. The Felix here is called the clamp bunk, and it actually works quite similar to the skidder. The only difference is that instead of a grapple, you have to load a clamp bunk with a crane. But it is designed the same way to go into the forest and then pick up these bunches of whole trees, so you can drive them out of the forests, and preferable to a location where a processor can cut them into length. So let's just get the first tree in here. Now, the skidder threw around these bunches a little, but normally they would be laid down nice and neat, so you wouldn't have to drive around too much after each tree. But just for now, let's just quickly reverse back over here so we can get the last tree as well. Now, let's grab it down, little fella. Now, I don't actually have much experience in this machine. It was available in FF22 as well, but for some reason they made it so you can't turn the seat around when you unfolded the machine. So if you like to play in first person, you're kind of forced to actually go into third person when you have to well, as you can see now, reverse back to where you want to drop off the trees. It might just be me who haven't figured out how, but it is a deal breaker for me, so I actually never really played around with it much. But yeah, it seemed like the clamp really worked. The trees were secured. So let's just quickly unload them off here. I also want to say that the grain is really good. It doesn't really struggle at all with these trees, even though they are whole. And also the machine is really stable, as you can see. So I will 100% recommend this machine over the Skidder at the moment, and then hopefully it's something that they will look into and get fixed rather quickly. Alright, so up here we have another winch. This one can be attached to most tractors, and it works the same way as the others, of course. So you just pull the rope down to a tree and then you attach it, and then you can control it using K and M. This one is definitely a great way to save money during forestry, as it can actually pull quite some heavy trees without the tractor even punching. As you can see, so let's detach the tree and take a look at the yarders instead. So up here we have the two yarders available. We have this one and this one over here. And they work the same way basically. This one just have a longer cable and can pull some heavier weights. But all you have to do is go up and activate it, and then we can run down and attach it to a tree. And let's just pick the first and best tree here. There we go. So now we just have to wait for the trolley to come to our position. And once it's here, it was a nice shine actually. Anyway, we can hook up a tree, then we can raise it up to the trolley, and then we can send it to the yarder. That was wrong. There we go. As you can see, it will easily pull a whole tree uphill, and that's exactly what the yarder is made for. It's made for logging and doing forestry on slopes and hills. Now, if the landing is big enough, or if the slope isn't too steep, I would normally just drop the logs or the trees around here. But for now, let's just send it all the way up to the yard, so I don't have to drive around in the Volvo too much. And now we basically just have to detach the tree. And then we can just make the trolley follow us down to the next tree again. So if we just go down and attach this tree, there we go. Another cool thing about the yarder is we don't actually have to be around it to operate it. We can just be standing down here, and once the tree is where we want it to be, we can just detach it, and then we could call the trolley down to us again. But for now, let's just say that was it. So now that we have seen the machines that are made to go in and get the logs and trees out of the forest, it's time for the next step. And that is to process the whole trees into logs so they are ready to be loaded. For this we will use the Volvo equipped with the P60 color processor head. Now the difference between this and the other tree harvesters is that this one will not be able to cut down standing trees. Instead, it's equipped with claws, so we can move the trees around freely. Okay, I might have spoken too quickly. So I'm starting to think that this game actually had a few clipping issues with the ground layer. Well, let's just jump out and take a look. So it seems like it's stuck in the ground. And now the tree is stuck in the machine. Let's keep safe distance here. Alright, let's just go in and reset it. Start over. Alright, so after a quick reset, let's just give this machine another go. Hopefully it will work better this time around. Now, when I'm processing trees, I really like to work from my right to the left. This is mostly due to the boom arm being in the way. So you just have better visuals when creating the log pile on the left side of you. Here you also want to always grab the tree on top. That way you won't accidentally start to pull the other trees with you as you are feeding. Now you also want to do your best to make this log pile somewhat even. Again, it's just easier to load once you're done. And there's no reason not to make it easier for yourself. Otherwise you might just end up spending... Oh, not again. Okay, good. At least we didn't get stuck this time. But yeah, there's no reason to make it harder for yourself. And it doesn't really take too long to just try to line up the trees. But yeah, let's just try to get through these trees quickly so we can try out some of the loaders. Just so we have a few different logs, I chose to adjust the cut lengths for this tree to 9 meters instead. Okay, so now for the last step before we can drive off and sell all our logs, is that we have to load them onto road legal vehicles or trailers. And as you can already see, I have already loaded a few logs on this Volvo. And so far, I really just have to say that the pedal finger crane here is amazing. It's really powerful and it's stable. So as you can see here, we can easily grab a big bunch of logs and then throw it onto the bunk. It also makes me wonder a little, because it feels odd that you can actually make a crane that works so well, and on the other hand make a crane on the Pantai that really can't lift anything. But it also gives me some hope that they will be able to perhaps fix it. But okay, let's try the Volvo here. Now, for those who had the Platinum DLC for FF22, this is no stranger. And I hope it will work the same way. It was such a great loader for FF22. So far it looks like it works the exact same way. It even had that glue effect to the claw. Let's just throw these onto here. When I'm loading trailers like this, I do like to push them all the way back. That way it's easier to see what you're doing in first person. But yeah, again, with this claw, I'm not really scared that I will lose these logs. It just grabbed them so easily. So yeah, if they could just change that to the Pantai and perhaps the Rotner as well. Now, that claw was fairly strong, but nothing compared to this. Now let's just try to take a big pile. Oh, it's a little more sketchy, but it looks like it won't be a problem, yeah. Yeah, I love this machine. Instead of loading logs, we can also use one of the 2 Woodchippers available in the game. This one for tractors, just make sure that the tractor have a crane, as Woodchipper doesn't have one. Or, if you don't really care about money, we can buy the Cobra, as this one is really expensive, but it's equipped with everything, except the trailer, I guess. So basically what you want to do when making wood chip is that you would park a trailer nearby, so you could dump the wood chips directly into it. You can also dump them on the ground, but I would just be a little wary doing so, as you might end up with hundreds of thousands of liters worth of wood chips, and honestly that's a lot of scoops with a wheel loader. But otherwise it's fairly simple to use. Now that the conveyor belt is started, we can simply just load the logs onto the conveyor belt, and then it should eat them up. Let's just take another few logs here. See how many you can grab. Okay. But it does seem to easily grab 2 logs at a time. So again, another crane that seems to work really well. Oh, it's a little jumpy, but it got even. Alright, let's try to see if we can chip the first 5 meters of the red pine here. I'm actually surprised how well the crane picks it up. Again, this log is absolutely massive. It weighs like 2.2 tons or something like that. But it actually seems like it's shipping fairly well. I do have to push it in though, but as long as it's chipping, it's I guess it's worth it in the end. Seems to not really want to ship it much anymore. Up there. I can't really turn the grain much more. Let's see if we can just push it in. No. Yeah, no, it won't budge. Alright, so it's actually too big for the Woodchipper as well. But then again, with a chainsaw, we could just cut it over on the middle. Alright, so now that we have actually loaded a few logs onto the trailer, I figured I wanted to try out the new unloader that's available in FF25. We do already know the wheel loaders from the Platinum edition of 22. But this one is a big surprise for me. These are not. These are outdated now. I can promise you that. So let's give it a try. I'm really excited to see how well it works, and I really hope that it works well. But yeah, actually, I do wonder if it can pick them all up. Oh, yeah, it actually seems like it. Oh no. Oh, come on. Yeah, so I'm not gonna blame the machine for this. Maybe I can wiggle them out. Yeah. No. Alright, so let's just let go of a few. There we go. Not too big of a fan of that hanging log, but oh my god, it's stable. And it seems like the logs don't even move around at all. It's almost like they just locked into the gravel. What's the reason? This thing. Oh my god, this is amazing. Oh, I'm gonna be such a huge fan of this machine, it's insane. I do actually wonder how well it will handle if the gravel isn't full. The Volvo from the Platinum edition was kinda stranger to this. Okay. Alright, so it's actually like the logs are literally locked in place. They will not move. That's super cool. That is really well made. And yeah, I'm gonna be such a huge fan of this machine. I can't believe they waited so long before before we knew that it was actually a part of the game. So far, this is actually the biggest surprise for me in FF25. Oh, yeah, so it has the glue effect, I guess, since it pulls the logs out again. But with a bit of practice, this machine will become amazing. So now that we have cut down a few trees, we still need to remove the stumps and, of course, replant some new ones. Let's just start with this stump grinder here. Now, I haven't actually tried this machine before, but I guess it works like the others. You just have to drive near a stump and then lower the saw. I actually don't think I'm even on it. Oh, I'm definitely on it. Oh, there we go. Okay. So perhaps not as effective, but but it does work. Let's just take one more. Oh, that was easy. Next we have the mulcher, which is a legit beast. It will really just eat anything on its way, and it's definitely my go-to tool if I have to remove a large area of stumps. Last but not least, we have the grinder tool for the Volvo. This tool is also an absolute beast and will also destroy the ground beneath it. Another good thing about this tool is if you have some small trees or something you just want to get rid of really quickly, it will eat it whole from top to bottom. Just note that you won't be able to get wood chips or anything like that, so it's just basically deleting the trees. When you want to plant some new trees, you have two options, one of which is this tool for the Volvo, which can hold up to 240 saplings. Now, and this tool is really great if you want to replant a lot of trees on hills or slopes or just uneven terrain overall. And once the tool is locked and loaded, you basically just drive around and shoot these saplings directly into the ground. The other option is to use the tree planter for the tractor. You load it up the same way, then you activate your tool and you lower it, and that will shoot down a sapling. And then every 10 meter perhaps it will shoot down another one. And these will of course grow up to be large big trees, depending on whichever sapling you chose, of course. But yeah, this was basically all the forestry equipment available in FF25 and how you implement them in your forestry operations. So left to say is just, I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching.